I am from France, more specifically from the south of France near Marseille.
How would you describe life in your country?
For me, it is great because I think I live in a nice place and I have a nice community around me. But I think it depends a lot on, like, of course, your social class, your background, and especially right now, the cost of life in France has been increasing so much, and it's become more and more difficult to survive for a lot of people. So for me, it is great, but not like it really depends on your background. It can be very contrasted.
Okay. What do you think makes your community strong and what would you like to see improved?
Um, so thinking of my community, I would say like I would speak for like the south of France specifically. I think it's nice how warm and open people are to each other, especially like on a local level. Like there is a great amount of solidarity, and also it's pretty multicultural in some places, like Marseille, for example, which creates a very welcoming environment. For the improvements, I think um, maybe infrastructure could be improved, like especially, for example, the trash management in Marseille and Aix-en-Provence could be improved, but it is a tricky subject.
How connected to the world do you think your country is?
I think France is pretty connected to the world, but not necessarily for good reasons. I mean, the colonial past definitely plays a role in that, because the heritage of that is that France like has like a lot of connections with North African and Middle Eastern countries, but also with like overseas territories that are still considered French today, like Tahiti, for example. And people might underestimate this, but they're like French territories in the Pacific, so that creates like a pretty incredible like um, network of like French speaking people, but it's not necessarily like uh, a thing to be proud of. Yeah,
What is something that people do not know about your country?
I think people tend to underestimate how diverse France is, because they when they visit France they think of Paris. When they think of France they think of Paris, and I think there is a very high contrast between, for example, the north and the south, or the east and the west, and you have like the Alps, the Atlantic Ocean, the Mediterranean Sea. Like you have a lot of different landscapes and possibilities if you want to travel to France. And Paris is just one city, and yeah, also the culture is very different in like all the regions. So yeah, that's something people tend to underestimate.
Mhm. If you could give one message to the world about your country, what would it be?
I think it's a very difficult question, because there could be a lot of things to be said. Maybe that French people maybe are hard to navigate at first, because I know that a lot of people think like we are like, I don't know, rude at first, or that we don't like when other people try to speak French. But I think a lot of the time it is actually very appreciated, and that yeah, we are more open than it might seem on the surface.
Okay, merci.
You're welcome.